episode 29 of the Seventh Rounders. It's been an interesting night so far. I'm going to actually, the sponsor tonight, we're going to get to in a second, but we'd like to welcome back John, first of all. For those of you who forget who he hasn't been here in a while, co-host of ours. Just laziness, skipped last week. We had a great time without him, but he's back. We punished him for missing, so he has been iced by his wonderful roommate Abby. He hasn't drinking it yet. He will be doing that live on the air. We haven't told him that. Also, he had a minor freak out as we got ready to record tonight. There was a rather big spider that crawled out from under the couch. He was running around, hooting and hollering. He hasn't recovered, may throw up, doesn't look well. John, fill me in. How do you feel?
So I'm sitting here. We're me and Chad are here. We're in the studio early tonight. All right, we're vibing. I throw panini on. Everything's fine. I'm eating my PF Chang's chicken lo mein skillet meal. It's delicious. It's fantastic. Couldn't ask for something better for $5. And out of nowhere, I see a small, and I can't stress this enough. It looked like one of those shower caps you put on your hair. If you wear a shower cap, if you're one of those. That's about the size of this spider that crawled out from under the couch. What I can't even talk. I can't even think of what I'm trying to say right now. It was a Chad skip away from the grazing the side of my foot. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up.
So
I can't even. It is the same color as my chicken lo mein meal. It is.
Is it in
disgusting.
the chicken lo mein?
No, I'm staring at it. So now I have this motherfucker out here. I've got him where I want him now. He's dead on the hardwood floor. If any other spiders in the area see this, they're going to know what they're going to end up like if they try to come for the side of my damn foot again. That's not okay. It's not going to fly. This is now the no-fly zone. I'd like to see you try to come to the side of my foot if you have more than two legs. Please, God, right now.
So you're killing a dog if it comes to your leg?
No. That's fine. Dogs, cats, they're cool with me. They're an exception to the rule.
So today's episode is brought to you by Daddy Longlegs.
You know what this looks like? This looks like a Daddy Longlegs and somehow a cockroach might have made it. That's what this looks like. It had those wide, it had like Kevin Durant legs right there, but it had the base just a wide base, and it was thicker. And I think it's got little feelers coming off the legs. That might be a little something. That might be a little crossbreeding. Or it might be asexual. Could be asexual.
Fun fact about daddy longlegs, they're the most venomous spider in the world. However, their fangs are not long enough to bite you, so they're harmless. Moving along, John,
the daddies are kind of cute, I'll be honest. If that crawled out, I would have been like, oh, that's just a daddy.
I'm going to be honest, I'm so done with the spider talk.
Me too. But I mean...
John, how was your week off? We gave you a break. How was your week off?
It couldn't have been busier. I'm also starting to worry now about my physical health here. I just feel like there's just no time of the day to hit the weights,
That's not good.
Tough to hit the weights on a working man schedule, especially when happy hours included in that working man schedule.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
Yeah, Chad doesn't get it. He doesn't get the grind yet, but you will, young Padawan. You will. Moving along, I had the New York Mets game on earlier, and some exciting news with them. They recently traded for Toronto starting pitcher Marcus Stroman, sent over a couple of young arms. I don't know what the hell they're doing, to be honest with you. I mean, they're not making the playoffs. I don't know why you spend two of your prospects to get Stroman. If it was a big FU to the Yankees move, I kind of love it, not going to lie. But other than that, don't really understand why they did that. Also looks like they're about to deal Syndergaard. So other than that, MLB trade deadline been dead this year. Absolutely dead.
I agree with you, Connor. I did not understand that move from the Mets' perspective whatsoever. And if they really did it to stick it to the Yankees, I think that's a blessing in disguise because I'm honestly not a huge Stroman fan. He's had arguably a career year this year, and he's not much more than a ground ball pitcher that is totally matchup dependent. I think so. I think he would struggle in Yankee Stadium. Not sure about the confines of the Mets home ballpark, but I think it's a blessing. I think he would turn into another, J.A. Happ disaster. That's an understatement. J.A. Happ stinks. Like, he is potentially the worst pitcher in the MLB.
I think J.A. Happ is the classic only had 1 year, though. Like, Stroman pitched in 3 playoffs. He was an opening day starter for them.
But
he's not going to strike out a lot of guys, but he's also not going to finish a year with like a 4.5 ERA. He's always going to be in that 3 to 4 range.
Chad, it's a fly ball league. Everyone's trying to hit bombs now. So having the ground ball guy in the rotation is definitely not a bad thing. Although the Mets suck, so I don't know why they did it, but
I mean, regardless, from the Mets' perspective, they gave up neither of the prospects they gave up were among their top 10 prospects. But I don't understand it because they're not going to be competing this year. They're not going to be competing next year. And I don't know how many years of control Stroman has left.
They could be competing next year. That roster's not that bad.
I mean,
they have Pete Alonso. They have Jeff McNeil. They have Conforto. I mean, Rosario's not a bad piece. They still have 3 dominant pitchers.
So, okay.
At least.
So let's say they go and they trade Stroman and Edwin Diaz. What was the point of the Stroman trade?
I don't know. Maybe they felt like he was going to go to New York or something. I really have no idea. Like I said, I don't know why they traded for Stroman. I think they could compete next year, potentially.
So is the DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler, Stroman combo the best staff in baseball?
No.
I mean, that Dodgers rotation's still nasty. Astros, you put not in the same breath, but pretty close.
I think the I think the Astros need to trade for a third.
Yeah, I would agree.
They
could really use Charlie Morton right now.
Like, dude, if they got I don't know if the Giants are going to trade more, but if they got Bumgarner in that rotation, they'd be fucking good. They actually might not lose a playoff game if they.
Not only is that the best
Verlander, Cole,
rotation, those guys dominate in the playoffs. All 3 of them. And then, I mean, the Dodgers, if Ryu can keep it up, I mean, that top 3 is disgusting. Of him, Kershaw, Buehler. And then I don't know who they have in the back end right now. I don't know. Is Rich Hill in the rotation currently?
It doesn't really matter in the playoffs.
Rich Hill's hurt.
Yeah.
Guys, really.
Yeah.
And they have long relievers, too. Like, Maeda can go a long time.
Urias. Yeah.
I think it's going to be Dodgers-Astros. I keep saying that. That's my pick.
Any other guys you think get moved before the deadline? What about Bauer, Matthew Boyd? We mentioned Bumgarner. You see any of those guys getting moved?
I don't think Bauer will. I think that'd be and now I don't think he definitely will because he tossed the ball from the pitcher's mound to the waterfall at the Royals Stadium this past week. So I don't even think anyone's going to really want him now, and there's no sense of trading him below his value. So
if you're Trevor Bauer, how can you do that? And then Francona comes out and he just immediately goes, "My bad." Like, buddy, you just threw that ball over the center field wall.
It legitimately could have hurt someone.
You just had a moment.
At some ballparks, that could have actually hurt a fan.
Yeah, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Say he wouldn't have thrown it into the crowd if there was fans there. I mean, you never know, but we hope not.
Yeah.
I still think there's going to be one or two more relief pitchers that are going to get moved. I don't know who it's going to be.
Felipe.
I'm really hoping it's not Shane Green. Really hoping it's not.
And I'm absolutely disgusted by this, but Felipe has been tweeting some cryptic tweets, dude. He wants absolutely the hell out of Pittsburgh. It's very sad. But, I mean...
Did you see the Dodgers wanted him, and the Pirates wanted Gavin Lux for him, and the Dodgers are like, nah.
I mean, if we're getting a top prospect, that's fine. I'll do it.
Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, for everyone that's not familiar, Gavin Lux is the Dodgers' #1 prospect. I believe is he a top 10 prospect overall right now? Or just in the Dodgers organization?
All I knew is he was top the #1 Dodgers. I didn't really look further into it after that because I don't think
he's hitting like over 400 in AAA. He's the hottest prospect in baseball right now.
Is he a shortstop?
Yeah. He would come up and play second base because Enrique Hernandez is hurt, or Kiki, whatever they call him.
Kiki, do you love me?
Are you riding?
All right. Well, other than that, nothing really exciting going on in baseball right now. I do love playoff baseball though, so I'm excited to get that coming in. Fantasy baseball starting to heat up, but we can save the people from that. We did want to start our process of breaking down some college football, some NFL. NFL preseason starts on Thursday. My beloved Falcons will be taking on the Denver Broncos in the Hall of Fame game. I'm disgusted the Broncos are favored in that game, even though it's a preseason game. Still mad. But we're going to start with college football. We decided we'd break down two divisions, our two conferences a week for you guys up until the season. We're going to kick it off here with the SEC tonight. The most coveted most coveted conference in the country, routinely considered, if not the best, at least right there. I mean, they're stacked again. They always are. John, you're the SEC expert on the show, having gone to this South Carolina, so just want to hear what your initial takes are on the upcoming season and who you think might take the crown this year.
I did attend the South Carolina. I mean, the SEC is the SEC. Obviously, you have a team like Vanderbilt expected to be ranked number 1 the whole year. You know, you got the SEC. No, Bama's going to be a good team, I would imagine. I don't know the last time I was breathing oxygen on this planet and Bama wasn't in the top 5.
It's been a while.
We got them. South Carolina has them at home week 3. Just want to throw that out there. Willie B. Last time they played in Willie B. Here's your fun fact of the night. Bama was ranked, as you probably would imagine, number 1. And South Carolina was ranked. Let me confirm where they were ranked here. But Alshon Jeffrey was on the team. He ate Drake Kirkpatrick's cookies, dude. He couldn't. Kirkpatrick didn't even belong on the same field as him.
Well, and Drake Kirkpatrick went on to be one of the biggest busts in NFL history. Not in NFL history, but he was a big bust.
He was a big bust. Yeah, definitely, yeah. We were ranked 19. This was in 2010. And, I mean, we just mollywopped them. Straight up, we just mollywopped them. It was 35-21. They had no answer. So all I'm saying, will history repeat itself? Absolutely. We're going to beat them week 3. You can write that one down in bold letters.
Alabama wins that game 49-10.
You want to bet on a spread, Chad?
Yeah.
What do you want? Throw me a number.
I'll say Bama over 17.
You're saying Bama by 17?
Yeah.
That's probably going to be fairly close to Vegas. Vegas might be around 20, 21.
Yeah.
17 actually might be close.
I could see it being like an 18.5 or some weird number
$50,
like that.
John. $50.
$50.
Oh, you heard it here.
That's 17. So if it's 17, do I win?
You
say 17 and a half, right?
No, I said 17.
He wants
sure?
to push.
Run back the tape.
John, I'll put it at 17.
I'll do it. I'll do 50 for 17 and a half if I get the under.
All right, deal.
Deal. Folks, you just saw us bond right there. That was a nice little, guys. That was a dude's bet. That's what we call it. Hashtag dude's bet. Get it trending.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the obvious Bama being at number 1.
Dude, I think this could be a year where UGA, if they don't, lose to South Carolina as probably the most feared team in the conference, honestly. But they could, this could be the year they actually beat Bama in the championship game. I feel like it's, Fromm's he's got to show it now. He's been there. This will be his junior year. He's always been good, but no one really sees him as that next level. I know Chad doesn't. So, I mean, I could see it. They got so much talent at every position. A guy could go down. It doesn't matter.
A team that sticks out for me is Florida's sneaky ranked number 8 in the preseason poll.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't won an SEC championship since Tebow was there in 2008.
Yep.
They haven't even been in a conference championship game in I don't know how long. Maybe since Tebow was there again.
No, they were in one more recently, but It's felt like that. I group like Florida, LSU, and Auburn all in the same. They're always very highly rated in the
Yeah,
preseason poll, and then those three teams beat up on each other during the year. They usually
yeah.
will lose to Alabama, maybe Georgia.
See,
They
now
finish the year with 2 or 3 losses.
I think it might be my boldest prediction. I don't know. I think A&M is going to be second in the West. I think A&M is going to be better than both Auburn and LSU.
Well, A&M's
Ole Miss,
preseason number
Mississippi,
11.
whatever.
So A&M sitting at number 11 preseason. We got LSU
LSU's
ranked
higher,
at number
right?
7. Yeah, we got LSU at 7, Georgia at number 4, and then Bama at number 2.
Is Auburn even on there? Is Auburn even on there?
They're
Auburn
15
is
or
entering
17.
Auburn's entering the season at 17.
Is this official rankings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, those have come out
Yeah, the NCAA released their preseason rankings.
today.
No.
This was updated today.
Oh, okay.
Is South Carolina on there? I'm curious.
No, they're not.
No
That's
shot.
bullshit. Are they on the edges?
Missouri is also ranked at 23 to round
Missouri's
out the
getting a ton
SEC.
of buzz, dude. I don't really know.
Because they got the Clemson kid.
Yep, Kelly
Kelly
Bryant
Bryant.
starting at quarterback for them this
Everyone sucks Clemson off. It's okay.
year.
Um,
They've only won twice in the past 3 years.
Yeah, they're a good team. I get it.
So do you guys see any scenario where we have a repeat of 2 years ago where 2 SEC teams, most likely Alabama, Georgia, make the college football playoff?
I think this is the year a Pac-12 team gets in again. I think
Love the Pac-12.
either I don't love them. I actually don't. I don't want them in there because I think whatever team gets in there loses. But I mean, I see Oregon or Washington probably running the table and having a good argument at it because I do think the conference will be better rounded as a whole and it'll have more ranked teams in conference.
Oregon, I love just because Herbert's back. He's the best quarterback in the country now. I think he's better than Tua. I'd rather have him than Tua. Be honest.
You'd rather have him than Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, yeah, but that's a biased answer.
So
Okay, let me give you a scenario then. So
I just don't care for Trevor.
let's say Georgia and Alabama meet in the SEC championship, both undefeated, which is unlikely, but let's say that's the case, and Alabama wins. They're definitely in. One loss Georgia in the SEC championship up against the Pac-12 champion would have to probably be undefeated. Do you think the Pac-12 champ gets in?
See, here's my thing. I think if it's Georgia, I do think the Pac-12 gets in. I think if you would have flipped that, say Georgia knocks off Bama, I think a one-loss Bama team has a much better chance of sneaking in there. I know they can say it's like unbiased, like system, whatever, but I think when there's just something about Bama, you feel like they need to be in the Final Four because they can win it. So I don't think a one-loss Georgia gets in if it plays out where they lose the conference championship. But I could see a one-loss Georgia getting in if, say, it was like a few years ago when I don't think Bama played in the conference championship, but they got into the playoff anyways, right?
Yeah, they lost. They might have been. They lost to Auburn last week of the year, so it was Auburn, Georgia, in the SEC championship.
Yeah. So I did want to point out week 2 is a huge week for the SEC. We have A&M traveling to Clemson. That's a 3:30 game during week 2, and we also have LSU. I don't know if they're going to Texas or if it's a neutral site, but they're the night game at 7:30. So very quickly, the SEC could be kind of a little bit decided. You know, say LSU and A&M both take L's, it's going to be Bama, Georgia, Florida, pretty much well ahead of them for most of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you, Connor. And I would like to hit on A&M. John brought him up. I think Jimbo Fisher may be the most overrated coach in college football. And all of his, pedigree is leaning on that national championship with Winston, which is obviously very well deserved and whatnot. But since then, that team is preseason top 15, when he was with Florida State, they're preseason top 15 every year. And then he's been, this is his second year at A&M. And there's hype again. I just don't see it. The quarterback's all right, but I think that's a team that's going to win lose 3 to 4 games in the SEC. And I don't
Well,
know.
I was gonna say they A&M week 4, so they play Clemson. They have Lamar, which is basically like playing a high school team week 3. Then they have Auburn coming to town week 4. So their season could very quickly unravel if they get off to a slow start.
Yeah.
They could very easily have 2 losses by week 4, which is you don't like that for Jimbo's future.
And that's the same with Auburn. I mean, Gus Malzahn is probably the biggest name coach on the hot seat
Yeah.
going into the year. They open with Oregon. I have them article I released a couple weeks ago. I had Auburn winning that game, but if they lose to Oregon week 1, they follow that game up fairly quickly with both Florida and LSU. So they could legitimately lose 2 to 3 games before week 6. And if that's the case, I could see Malzahn out. And that's just, I don't know, the thing with the SEC West and A&M, LSU, and Auburn specifically is these teams have a ton of talent. You know, they have top 10 recruiting classes every year, but they're not on Alabama's level, and they're going to beat each other up. So that's why I can't complain that they're ranked preseason top 10, but
Listen,
I know 2 of them early on will drop out of the top 10 fairly quickly.
I think Auburn is going to be a 6-6 team this year, and I think it's. I feel like Malzahn's been hanging on by a thread for 2 or 3 seasons. I think this is the one that he goes.
I think Iron Bowl win over Bama really extended Malzahn's career a bit.
Dude, I see them losing another 12 games. Oregon, A&M, Florida on the road, LSU on the road, Georgia, and Bama. That's 6. That's 6 games I feel like they're going to lose. I don't know. I just don't.
I mean, regardless,
even
if they lose 4, let's say they somehow sneak 2 of those wins out, 4 losses, I think Malzahn could still be gone.
Yeah.
Especially if they're Bama and Georgia. If he beats Bama or Georgia, then, I mean, he might have a chance. But
Yeah. And then SEC East. From what I heard with Florida, Felipe Franks has looked pretty good this summer. I'm not a Felipe Franks fan. I think Florida is still the best competition to Georgia in that side of the conference.
Well, I was going to say about Georgia is they have Notre Dame week 4.
Yeah.
Which is arguably their biggest game other than probably Florida and if they play Alabama in the conference championship.
Georgia plays A&M as well. That's a cross-conference game for Georgia this year. But I agree with you. If they beat Notre Dame week 4, I mean, that probably knocks Notre Dame out, but I think that puts it. I don't know. It's tough, though, because it's a non-conference game. So in reality, it doesn't mean a whole lot to playing in the SEC championship.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it does nothing to propel them to the top of the SEC East.
Right, but they lose that game. That means they absolutely have to win the SEC championship to even have a shot.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to look here. Florida plays Georgia week 10, and it's at a neutral site, so that's fairly late in the season. Could be a huge game.
I think they go Georgia plays Florida, then Auburn, about back to back, and then obviously they end the year with Georgia Tech, who's a dumpster fire, and then potentially Alabama in the SEC championship.
I'm gonna on air guarantee that we beat Florida when
Who's
we play
South
them
Carolina?
on October 19th,
South
South Carolina.
That's
week
a game
7.
that South Carolina usually wins and a game that Florida will usually blow.
I don't know. You know, everyone's kind of sleeping on South Carolina. I'm trying to pretty much max a bet on over 6 wins this year. I think that's the Vegas line. I'd max the shit out of that.
Do they still have that bum Jake Bentley?
They still have him, but they actually have Ryan Helinski now. You might end up playing over him.
Huh.
Top freshman recruit, highest ranked quarterback recruit in school history, Ryan Helinski. We also just landed. This was kind of a big under the radar transfer news. Tavian Feaster, former 5-star running back, went to Clemson. He transferred to South Carolina this week. Immediately eligible. So
how does that work out? You know, like how do some guys just immediate eligibility?
I have no idea how he's immediately eligible, but I mean that's massive.
Fun fact: that's the first national champion on a South Carolina roster in 50 years.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. It's exciting.
So should we give our? Let's just do.
Bama's going to win the conference. If you're asking me who's going to win, it's Bama. It's not even close. Georgia's they're going to poop themselves in the SEC championship for like the 8th straight year.
I tend to agree that Alabama beats Georgia in the national championship. John, are you
in the
with
national
us?
championship
or in the SEC championship? I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that it'll be. I'm going back and forth in my head. I gotta go with the gut. It's gonna be South Carolina over Bama in the national championship. No bias whatsoever. Like seriously, I genuinely believe that we are going to beat them. I've been telling everyone 12-0. Get me to the title.
But
get me to Indianapolis.
So we touched on it a little bit. John's major sleeper in the conference, clearly South Carolina. I also want to hear from John who he thinks the biggest bust is going to be. It sounded like he might be hinting at Auburn, but I lay that question out for all you guys. Just biggest surprise, biggest bust from the conference this year.
I'll say it is definitely Auburn, but my sleeper big bust is going to be Florida. My big bust is Auburn. My sleeper big bust is Florida. My sleeper national champion is South Carolina. My other sleeper probably would be Missouri, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
My big bust is A&M. Like I said, I'm not a Jimbo fan. I think they're going to lose 4, maybe 5 games. Sleeper, I'm going to say, in a sense, is it wouldn't surprise me at all if Florida were to beat Georgia in that game. I could see Florida giving Alabama a game in the SEC championship. Not saying they'd win, but I think Florida could be better than some people think, even though I'm not a Felipe Franks fan. I'm a fan of that defense, and I'm a fan of the offensive style they run. I think they put their running backs in a position to be very successful, even the no-name guys. So that's who I have there. Connor, what about you?
I'll just be real brief. I also have Missouri being my sleeper. I think Kelly Bryant's he's just a winner, and I think he'll be able to put up some points against some of the worst teams in the conference. I don't think they win the division by any means, but I could see them finishing the year around the 15 rank nationally. And my big bust is going to be A&M for sure. LSU, also an honorable mention as a bust. I don't think Coach O is a good coach. Hell of a football guy, but don't love him as a coach. And I don't love that quarterback guy who transferred in from Ohio State. I think he's Joe Burrow? Yeah, he's kind of trash.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to Chad's apparently new favorite conference, the Pac-12.
The Pac-12. I have done some research because I've been tweeting from our new college football account, but this is a deeper conference. We've given the Pac-12 a lot of slack in both basketball and football.
I believe you meant to say flack, sir.
Yeah.
I believe you meant to
definitely
say
not
flack,
giving them
sir.
slack. Definitely haven't given them slack.
All right, switch that SL to FL. I'm sorry there.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. You guys are gonna have to take over for the next 3 minutes. I gotta clean up this spider mess that's on my floor. I can't stop looking at it. But you guys continue on. I don't have much to say about the Pac-12. You know I don't believe in that conference, dude. Miss me with that. I'm gonna clean up the spider splat all over my floor.
Okay. All right. So John's out for a few minutes. As I was saying, we have given this conference a ton of flack. But I think there's legitimately they could end the year with 6 teams ranked. That includes Utah and Southern Cal from I think it's the Pac-12 South and the Pac-12 North, Oregon, Washington State, and I'm drawing a blank on one team. Stanford,
yeah. So just to give everyone a little bit of a sense, Pac-12 doesn't have many teams ranked in the preseason top 25. We have Utah sitting at 15, Oregon at 12. Then you move lower, and that's it. So we got 2 teams starting the season. And Washington at 14. So sorry, they got Oregon at 12, Washington at 14, Utah at 15. So that's your preseason. I don't really know anything about Utah, but they were picked as the Pac-12 favorite in the preseason media poll. I mean, you said you've been looking into it a little bit. Just curious, like they
Utah,
have Kyle Whittingham's their coach still, I believe. He's a phenomenal coach.
yes.
Other than that, I know nothing about him.
So Utah, I mean, the main guy that I know is they have a really good running back. He'll probably finish in the top 5 to 10 in the nation rushing. Zach Moss, I believe. Don't quote me on the first name, but last name definitely Moss. I think they're definitely the favorites in the South. I could see them reaching the Pac-12 championship with one loss, and that's what I have them at right now. And they have a bunch of good games. I mean, the thing that hurts Oregon.
Let me just. I'm gonna creep. I'm gonna creep myself back in through the door here. I kind of just slammed in your face. Zach Moss. I immediately knew the name. I ran back to the computer, the microphone, everything. I said, "You're done with the spider. Go correct Shaq, 'cause he fucked up." Zach Moss is the running back for the Utah Utes, and he is a friggin' animal, dude. Why do I know this, John? Why do you know this? Well, my answer would be because I love gambling, and I have bet on Utah plenty of times. Those are the games. If you're betting on the Utah Utes, you've been drinking for 2 hours already. Those games started about 11 p.m. You're trying.
Those are the games.
You're
you have to look at the score again the next day because you're not really sure if they won.
You don't even remember. You log in like the next afternoon and you're like, where did that money go? Oh, I bet on Utah again. That's exactly how most of my Sundays went when I started if I was looking for an NFL game. You know what I'm saying?
So where did you correct me? Weren't we talking about Utah?
Zach Moss plays for – you said he played for Washington.
No, I said Utah.
We said Utah. Go back to cleaning up the spider, boss.
Oh.
So let me finish.
Well, anyway, that just allowed me a chance to ramble about gambling, though. I mean,
yeah, that's always
kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
Well, now everyone's like, well, this is what happens on Sundays for John. It's really not that crazy. I know Connor feels it. Chad, are you going to get into it too? You want to join us? We can go to meetings weekly.
Yeah, I would.
about our disease.
Yeah, but sorry, Chad, your train of thought kind of got lost there. But there's 3 teams in the Pac-12 that really stick out to me this year. It's like the teams I'm most intrigued by. UCLA with Chip Kelly. I mean, I think they have another year like they did last year. You can him, but he has the potential to go off. You know, he's led Oregon to some stuff.
Didn't something come out earlier this summer that like he has like 10 players' phone numbers? Everyone hates him. Chip Kelly. Pretty sure I saw that.
I'm familiar with that report.
I'm pretty sure I saw that like only 10 players actually have the guy's phone number.
Wow, that's a weird stat, and that troubles me a bit. The second team is Arizona. They have Khalil Tate coming back. He was a preseason Heisman candidate prior to last year. I don't really know what happened with him last year, but he didn't really produce. He'll be back. Intriguing prospect. And last but not least, I have to say Arizona State. Herm Edwards, second year, I believe, there. Pretty decent first year, to be honest.
Honestly, exceeded expectations.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they added a couple other NFL coaches to that coaching staff. Although I'm blanking on the name. I don't want to say Lovie Smith, although that's what I'm inclined to say.
He's still at Illinois.
Yeah, that team sucks.
I have the quote. It's a tweet. I actually
possibly the worst team ever.
It says, it's pretty funny, guys. Current UCLA player on Chip Kelly. Nobody likes him, but everybody is scared to stand up. He lies and has no player relationship. Only about 10 people on the team have his phone number. Abuse of power, a lot more. ...
Interesting.
Also, it could be fake, though. Yeah, I just had to follow up on the thought, you know?
Okay, thank you.
You know who they signed? They hired Marvin Lewis, former Bengals head coach. He's a special advisor to the football team, whatever the hell that means.
Yeah, so nothing, pretty much.
They also have Antonio Pierce on the coaching staff, the former Giants linebacker. He's their recruiting coordinator, assistant coach, linebackers coach. Very interesting.
So can I make my prediction, or is someone else going to interrupt me now?
No, you're good to go, man.
Okay, so I honestly think the non-conference game for Oregon against Auburn is going to kill just kill them this year. And usually, you want to see teams play good out-of-conference schedules, which I completely agree with. But I think this really hurts them this year because I think they're going to have plenty of ranked games in conference where this Auburn game isn't necessary. And like I said earlier, I have Auburn beating Oregon week 1. So I think it's middle of the year. It's going to be Washington, Oregon. And I think that's going to decide the Pac-12 North. I think Washington's going to win. So, John, wait till I'm done, please. I see Washington and Utah in the Pac-12 championship, both with 1 loss. I think the winner of that, even with 1 loss, gets into the college football playoff. So I could see either Utah or Washington getting into the college football playoff. And that's kind of where my change of heart came from. Just looking at this conference and the fact that they have potentially 2 teams that have a good shot at making the college football playoff, and that doesn't even include Oregon.
So
I think this
Washington takes on
around.
Oregon October 19th. I'm not positive what week that is. Although Washington's got a tough early road. I mean, going on the road to Stanford, never easy. I mean, they also always struggle against USC. So
that's where I have Washington's 1 loss is the USC game. And I think USC will be better than people think. I think they'll have 1 or 2 losses going late into the year. And I think for some reason they'll just be straight stupid and lose to UCLA. And that's, I see USC finishing the year ranked. But I really like Washington. People are down on them because, all right, Jake Browning, quarterback, for those who don't know.
He was the worst quarterback ever.
He stunk last year.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah. He
set
all sorts of passing
freshman
records.
year, and he set a ton of records, but he was bad. It made no sense to me.
So bad. Like, incompetent in the Rose Bowl last year. It's a blessing that he's gone. Now they've got Eason, who is going to be very, very interesting. I'm leaning towards him being successful there. He's from Washington, Lake Stevens, which is a couple hours from campus, and I think he fits that conference perfectly. I think he'll find success there, and I'll tell you what, if they had a legit quarterback like Eason a couple of years ago when they played Alabama in the college football playoff, it could have been a different game. So that's why I have Washington at the moment winning the Pac-12 and making it to the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you that Washington's going to compete for it. But like John said earlier, I'm going to take Oregon. I got Oregon. And I don't think Utah's making the conference championship game from the South. I'm gonna roll with USC. To be honest, I think this is the year that USC finds some glory again. The big game is they have games against Stanford, Washington very, very early in the season. They're gonna have to win those games to even have a shot. I saw another huge game early is we have Arizona State going to Michigan State for a big non-conference game. Just going to be exciting to see Herm Edwards' team get some TV time against a good Michigan State team.
Question for you. You have Oregon. I'm assuming you have them winning the Pac-12. Do you think they get in with 1 loss? Let's say their loss is – if their loss is week 1 to Auburn and they run the table rest of the way, I think they're definitely in. But let's say they beat Auburn and they lose mid-year to USC. Do you still think if they finish the year 1 loss, Pac-12 championship, they're in?
I think it all depends on who they're being compared to. They would get in over a 1-loss ACC team. Say if Clemson would be that 1-loss team, I feel like you have to put them in. So
let's say it's Ohio State finishes the year with 1 loss to Michigan State and they win the Big Ten. Would you put in a 1-loss Oregon or a 1-loss?
I put a 1-loss Big Ten team over a Pac-12 team every single time. I do that with every single Power 5 conference. So they would have to be there. Either the other Power 5 conferences would already have to have an undefeated team in there. You know what I mean? So but if the first team from either of those other conferences also has 1 loss, I think you put them in over the Pac-12.
Okay.
You also think about it just from a marketability standpoint. Like nobody watches the Pac-12 teams for the most part.
So,
John doesn't watch them. He just gambles on them, and he just throws his money up in the league.
I it'll be like we're in like the middle of the bar. It's I don't know 12:30 and it's probably the second quarter because the game just started, and we're
he turns his head to the TV after he gets rejected from like the second girl he tried to talk to, and then he's like,
I'll be grooving. Panini might come on, and then Chad, I'm gonna snap my neck back and be like, oh, the Utah game, and then I quickly I peep the score, and then I'm back and I'm grooving, and that's what's gonna happen all fall. I can't wait. We're like a month away from that.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where you're already pretty drunk, so like even if they're losing and they're not, they're not hitting the spread in the moment, you don't really get worried. You're just like, oh, like this never happened. We got NFL tomorrow,
Yeah,
it's
Dude,
bad.
The great thing about these games is they literally like are on until the bars close on the East Coast, like these late Pac-12 games. Oh, it's so fantastic. It's really fantastic.
How about that one Pac-12 game last year? I don't remember. I think it was a bowl game, and I think Cal was in the bowl game. And there was that game they what was there, like 6 or 12 interceptions or something ridiculous.
I think it was
like
that. 6-3 final score or something like that?
Yeah.
3-0 or 6-3. It was ridiculous.
Oh, but do we have any other sleepers in this conference? I think USC is a sleeper.
I agree.
I don't really know anything about Stanford's roster, but they always stick around,
The North is definitely significantly stronger than the South, I believe.
Yeah, Utah.
I agree.
Team in the
And
South.
if you wanted me to maybe reach on a sleeper, I would almost say Arizona State could turn some heads, just because I like
you never
Herm.
know with Herm, yeah.
Herman Harvey could be cooking something special in the desert out there.
I think the only other team to look at would be Washington State. Leach is going to bring a high-powered offense, so I think they could win a few ranked conference games. I think if the chips fall right, they could beat anyone in the Pac-12 on any given night. So that's another team to watch out for.
The North honestly looks like it'll be a dogfight because Stanford, Washington State, and Oregon are all very good.
That's
Chad,
one of the better. Go ahead.
I want to thank you for stimulating me on this Pac-12 football. There's nothing I'm more looking forward to right now than just some late night drunk Pac-12 football.
Some bar betting with John.
Can't wait.
Or betting at the bar with John sounds
better. I wanted to do this on the air as well. We are planning a business trip to Charlotte. Chad will be in town August 23rd, and we're expecting you. I'll be honest.
I have to confirm with my reps, and I will let you know.
And it's looking like a potential date for the three of us, a dude date. And there's nothing wrong with a dude date, guys. Don't ever, know everyone. I just want everyone to know.
Nothing wrong with the girls' night either. Just want to make sure we're progressive out here. Right. Moving along to the NFL, we have the NFC South and the AFC South on the docket today. NFC South happens to contain at least my favorite team. I still don't know if John's favorite team's the Panthers or not, but arguably
I don't think John has a favorite sports team anymore. I honestly don't think he does.
I have never been in a more uncomfortable position in my life than when people ask me who my favorite team is right now, because I really don't know. I really don't know. It's tough.
You gotta pick before the season, dude.
It's so awkward, dude. It's just so uncomfortable. Like I feel like someone is tugging at the bottom of my stomach. I don't know.
So walk us through your thought process.
It's a lot. It's like an emotion. It's so much emotional, just energy drain out of trying to decide, do I go back to the old, we grew up on the Dolphins. Do I go back to the Dolphins? At the same time, they suck. They're going to be really bad. Do I stick with the Panthers now? I live here. That's where I was for a year, full time. I have a lot of Panthers clothes. I have a ton of stuff, so I'm going to go to the games. They're looking still like the most likely. And then the dark horse in this whole thing that might just toss
there's a third team
right in there. There's a third team, dude. The mystery team. This is the mystery team. It's trying to throw a wrench in on the whole thing for me. This is the one that hurts the most, dude, right in the side. The Cleveland Browns, I absolutely love them. I absolutely love the Cleveland Browns. And they're making me want to, dude, something about them.
They got the
swag,
like
but
the Browns are the one team out of that, though, if you like them, people are going to be hammering you with the bandwagon comments.
Can I say this? If I'm in a committed relationship with one of these teams, I'm going to cheat on them with the Browns. It's going to happen at one point or another. Like, when is it going to happen? I don't know.
I don't think you're a football fan anymore. I think you're kind of fake.
No. I think he's a football whore. It's he's messing around with three different teams. I mean, we'll talk about that in person, but Jesus. You got some mirror looking to do, man.
And it started with the NBA when he just decides to all of a sudden like the Mavericks.
Yeah,
like,
and then he forgot he liked the Mavericks.
I don't respect them anymore.
I mean, if we're being honest, John's fooling around with a lot of sports teams.
To be fair, I've never had a favorite NBA team. I just don't really care for the NBA.
A little different, but you're fooling around a little bit. I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not going to condone it.
The NFL, it's my kryptonite. It's like a
Regardless,
drug. The NFL.
We're going to hop into the NFC South because John's got to figure that out on his own time. I don't know if I should start out this segment because the Falcons are winning the division. The Saints are finishing second. The Panthers third. The Bucs are terrible. They're going to be fourth. And the Falcons, I'm not kidding you. John jokingly says South Carolina is going to win the national championship. I am telling you the Atlanta Falcons will be back in the game this year. And I hope they don't do what they did last time. That's all I'm going to say. They're going to win the NFC. They're going to be in the Super Bowl.
I think to start with the Saints, I think they have a major hangover. I was reading something earlier, and I think it's right. I don't think they recover from that call last year. They're too worried about it. Mike Thomas is holding out. I think they're kind of a mess. I just think they'll be rattled all year. Drew Brees is obviously old AF, and he showed signs of decline as the year went on. I like the Panthers. And I like the Falcons to get a wild card. Saints third in the division, and the Bucs with the best quarterback in the NFL, Jameis Winston, bring up the rear.
Yeah. So just to read out
the Panthers as the division champs.
Yes,
I love that.
So I was gonna say the Vegas odds right now have the New Orleans Saints favored as -230 to win the division. Falcons are sitting at +330.
I almost spit up my water.
You can get the Panthers at +500 right now to win the NFC South. I will be honest on air. I already threw. I won't say the exact amount of money. I threw a decent amount of money on the Atlanta Falcons to win the NFC East or NFC South. Sorry. If you throw on the Bucs at +800, I might come and find you, and I'm gonna do bad things to you because that's literally throwing money into the wind.
I'm about to on the air. Take one bet in every division for a division champion on air.
You should just do the ones that we're talking about today. Just NFC South,
I love that. That saves me money for some. Okay, that's good. Good job. Okay, so folks, and you're seeing it live on air, and this is honestly no brainer. When you said +500 for the Panthers, pants got a little shorter. That's for sure.
All right. Well, John throws that bet on there. Who do you like as – we'll mix it up. Who do you have as the division's MVP?
I mean, this division, it's very easy to say it's going to be the quarterback of the team that wins the division because that division is so quarterback heavy. But for the sake of being different, and me personally thinking the Falcons will win the division, I think that I think it's going to be, I mean, Matt Ryan's the obvious choice, but I'm going to say Deion Jones is the MVP of that division. I'm going to go with a defensive player. I think all the teams will put up points. I think the Falcons defense is back. I'm going to ride with Deion Jones. I would have said who John was about to say, but I don't think they're going to win the division, so.
Are you saying Christian McCaffrey? Because that's who I'm choosing.
It is going to be McCaffrey. I'm with you.
Another dark horse, if the Saints win the division again, Alvin Kamara is going to have a big year if that happens. So, yeah. Who would you rather have right now? I mean, Kamara and McCaffrey. Obviously, McCaffrey, a first-round pick. Similar styles, similar age. You have one guy to start your franchise with. You guys are taking McCaffrey.
I'm taking McCaffrey. I'm taking McCaffrey. He's an
think I would
animal.
take
I think he's
McCaffrey.
gonna. My bold prediction this year is he's gonna have 1,000 and 1,000.
I want to say he came. I think he
He was
had
quite
like
close.
1,700 or something like that. Maybe 1,800.
I mean, it was impressive, whatever it was.
And he's
Defen-
massive now. Like he's added probably 20 pounds
But
of
the
muscle.
the
I
big
think.
question with the Panthers is are we completely over worrying about Cam Newton's shoulder? Is that completely behind us?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I think this division is going to be all over the place, and I think Newton is going to stay healthy enough where McCaffrey is going to be able to do his thing. I really like the weapons Carolina has. An alumni,
Moore.
brother of mine, Curtis Samuel, is going to be in his third year with Carolina. Another utility guy, in a sense. He's going to play wide
Moore's going to
receiver.
have a big year for them. He low-key had a very solid rookie season.
Yeah, Moore and Samuel are very, very good players. Very, very
Yeah.
good players. And I like Chris Hogan if he's going to end up starting out wide too as a bigger target. I don't know if he's going to start though.
Now, another big thing with the Panthers, I mean, you can't really expect Greg Olsen to play a full season.
No, he's a dead man walking.
Ian
So
Thomas did show some promise as a backup. He was a rookie last year. He's all right.
Yeah,
but
but I mean, you see the stats and how better Cam Newton is, and how much better the Panthers are when Greg Olsen plays. So, I don't think that should go underappreciated. All right, so division winners we get.
No, I agree.
Panthers, Falcons is what we have for our.
That's correct, and I think it's going to be one of the more open divisions in the whole NFL. I think this next division we're going to hit on the AFC South. I'll just start. I'll be pretty brief with it. I think Deshaun Watson could possibly be the most underrated quarterback going into this year. I'm starting to fall in love with him. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he led the league in passing this year. I think Houston wins that division. I think Indy gets a wild card spot. I think they're neck and neck, but I think Houston wins the division. I think by the end of the year, they will be saying the AFC South has two of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL in Andrew Luck and Deshaun Watson. I just think I think Houston's defense is just a tick better than Indy's at the moment, and I don't think that's going to be the case after this year. I think their offenses are comparable. They both got, elite weapons, and T.Y. Hilton and now Paris Campbell with Indy, and then obviously Hopkins with Houston. But I'm going to say it comes down to one team's 11-5, one's 10-6, and then I think Tennessee's garbage. I think it'll go back and forth between Mariota and Tannehill, depending on who's healthy throughout the year. And then finally, Jacksonville won't win shit until they draft a quarterback because Nick Foles is awful. There you go.
Wow. Well, before we keep going, the odds from Vegas have the Colts favorite at -120. You can get the Houston Texans, Chad's favorite, at +200. Jacksonville Jags slotted in on third at +350, which is not that big of a gap between them and the Texans. And then you have the Titans down at 650. I'm going to be honest. I think this is the last year we see Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota starting at an opening game for an NFL team. I think they're both done after this year, as I think the Titans...
I like that take a lot. I think
the Titans, they finished last in the division again. Unlike Chad, I think you're going to be surprised with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're going to finish second in the division, and I think the Texans also win the division. I think I think Jacksonville, Indy, and Houston might all have 10 wins this season. I could see it.
Oh yeah. So for me, I like the Colts to win the division, but I like the Texans at +200 as the best bet if you're going to make a bet.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
I don't see any value on the Colts at -120, even though I think they're probably going to win the division. I just like the Texans enough where it's close.
I have a little comparison for you. The AFC South reminds me a heck of a lot of the Pac-12. a bunch of teams that are,
that nobody cares about.
that nobody cares about, and then we're looking and analyzing right now, and it's a pretty damn good division.
The Pac-12 North is what the AFC South is.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. They're trash, and they're arguably their best offensive. Arguably their best offensive player.
They got a good enough defense where they might hover around 500.
Tennessee. Yeah, well, I was gonna say arguably their best offensive player, who's an offensive tackle, Taylor Lewan, is suspended. For 4 games. Although Kevin Byard, now the highest paid safety in the NFL after signing a $75 million deal, safety for Tennessee. So look out for him. But I agree with John completely. I think if you're looking for a value here, who you want to gamble on, throw something at the Houston Texans at plus 200. I mean, if you're feeling really frisky, I think there is a shot that Jacksonville gets back to where they were 2 years ago. So plus 350, I don't hate that either. I think the Colts at minus 120 is, you're not getting enough bang for your buck. So I'm gonna go with the Texans, Jags, Colts as the 1, 2, 3 on who you should take to win the division.
Okay, and then MVPs of the division. I mean, it's a 2-man show between Watson and Luck for me.
Yeah,
I just said Watson's gonna lead the league in passing yards, and they win the division. So I can't do it. Luck wins MVP of that division. I don't know how, based on what I just said. I just gave myself a concussion trying to figure out that math, but Luck.
I think Watson wins the MVP of the division. I think the Texans win the division. And people, what's his name is back for the Texans. He's fully healthy now. Is that that receiver from Notre Dame that they drafted,
Fuller?
Will Fuller. He's back to full health. I think he missed a significant chunk of last year.
He's about as fast as me, actually.
Is Lamar Miller still starting at running back for Houston?
Well, they have Deontay Foreman, who's finally going to be healthy this year. From what I've read, Houston is not a fan of Lamar Miller, but they really haven't had any other choice. I don't know how much longer. This may be the last year of his deal. Don't quote me on that. But I think Deonta Foreman will get worked in big time and could take over this role, the starting role, by midseason.
Foreman, former Texas running back, for those of you that don't know. He's a load.
He reminds me of Derrick Henry.
Yeah. So obviously I'd be with you on the MVP, but I'm going to throw a dark horse candidate on the defensive side of the ball.
Matt Schwab.
Jadeveon Clowney in his age 26 season. He's been in some trade rumors lately. I don't really know why.
To Buffalo.
Is this his contract here?
Yes, so I'll fill you in. So the Texans currently don't have a GM, from what I understand. And
their owner also died. Who's running the show there?
I don't know, but they don't love re-signing Clowney, and I guess there's some work ethic issues. I mean, that's what you get out of South Carolina. And the Bills have connections. I guess they have a couple of former front office guys of the Texans in Buffalo now, so they've been in talks. I don't think anything substantial has come about, but I guess the Texans are at least listening to trade offers for Clowney. But let's move on, and let's quickly do 16 questions before we wrap the show up. Banana.
Yeah, so I am up this week. It's a good way to wrap up this show. You know, we got the important stuff out of the way. Now we can play. You know, that's what Mom always used to say. Feeling like Chance the Rapper. That was kind of good bars. The Big Day by Chance the Rapper out now. If you haven't heard it, pretty good. Haven't listened to all 22 songs yet, but shout out my guy.
4 day.
Anyways, I have my person in mind.
Is it 100 or 200?
I have 0. It's 210, I believe.
No, remember I went from -1 to 0.
Yeah, but I think you won again last week.
Oh, because I picked. Okay.
Or no, 2 weeks ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's 210.
All I know is I too.
Write that down somewhere. It's 210. You know, remember.
John, do you want to go first or second?
So Connor, you have your person. I'll go first.
All right.
I don't know why I thought of this person, but yes, I do have.
Okay. All right. Okay. Is it an athlete?
It is.
Is it a current athlete?
Yes.
Are you keeping track of the tally, by the way?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, that's on you. Do they play a male team sport?
Yes.
Is he a football player?
Yes. That was your fourth question.
Fourth. Okay.
So that was also my fourth. So this will be my fifth.
What?
Do they play
It's
offense?
fifth question overall.
Do they play offense for an NFC team?
Yes. That was a good question.
Offense for an NFC team. Are they in the NFC South?
No.
Um,
You're on question number 8 overall.
You mean 7?
Or
Yeah.
7. Sorry.
Wait, what?
Question number
ask
7.
A question. It's
Yeah.
number 7 total. You guys have 10 remaining, including this one.
Are you sure about that?
John, please.
Okay. Have they won MVP before?
No.
I've got a guess.
If you guess it right now, I'm not kidding. I will finance all of your bets for the entire football season.
All right, I take that back, even though I had a guy in mind. Oh, shoot. I would have just contradicted myself because this is an NFC South guy.
Say something, dude.
Is this player in the NFC East?
Yes.
Do they play an offensive
John.
skill position?
No. This is question 10 coming up.
Okay, so lineman in the NFC East. Do they play for the Redskins?
Yes.
Is it DJ Swearinger?
Well, one, he's not. No. Just no.
Is he on the foul? Is he on the
No,
Cardinals?
he's on the Redskins, but
He might be on the Cardinals now.
he's not an offensive player.
Did I already? Shit! I said offense. Shit!
This is question 12.
Connor, is he a Pro Bowler?
Yes.
Is it Trent Williams?
It is. Trent Williams, indeed. He is currently holding out.
Yes, he is. I don't think. I'm pretty sure he said he's not going to play for them. Like he's out.
Yeah. The Redskins just signed Donald Penn in his wake. I did see an article, though, that Bruce Allen, the Redskins owner, said that they still want Trent Williams, but really doesn't sound like that's going to work out.
No. So I extend my lead 3-1-0.
I thought you were gonna say the guy everyone makes fun of because he's so bad, Eric Flowers.
No, he's a clown. But on that note,
I think we're gonna sail off. We need to put John to bed. He is delirious
Tuck
at this
me in.
point.
Give me a warm milk real quick.
John, did you get the spiders out from under the?
No, can you get the hell over here? Can you get the hell over here and take care of that for me?
So, just to fill him in before we leave, yeah, we told him we iced John. He did not take the ice for missing last week, but I also part of this thing I did with Abby, I was like, I want to ice John, so buy it, but I also want to get him a gift. So, John, under where you are laying right now, there is a gift for you. One of your favorite snacks. Abby knew what it was. It's a gift from the 7th rounders.
What is it?
Tell us when you find it.
Other than the ice?
I
already told you I saw it.
Oh, you did?
I already told you I saw it like 4 times ago.
AJ, you can just squiggle that part of it out if it was just way too awkward. All right, Alyssa, I love you. Good night.